Government House correspondent Zimo Bemi was at the event, and the report is presented from our studio.
Officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, were in Ondo State to intimate government to the latest predictions about flooding in some prone local government areas of the state. Deputy Governor Dr. Olaide Adelami thanked the National Emergency Management Agency for being proactive and assured the team of government's preparedness to curb flood disaster. He said the state government has done a lot by providing necessary equipment to clear the waterways.
Without appreciating our amiable, peace-loving, people-oriented, and developmental-focused governor of Ondo State, His Excellency Lucky Orimison Aiyedatiwa, for his readiness to approve funds to meet emergencies and for being responsive to the yearnings of our people in the state.
The Director General, Zubaida Umar, represented by the Director of Special Duties, Hajia Fatima Kazim, said the early warning strategy is to spur early action to save lives and property during the rainy season.
I wish to commend Your Excellency for all the measures put in place in the state by the state government to reduce the risk of disavoidable losses in the state. For the 2024 rainy season, some local governments of Ondo State are still predicted to be affected by flooding. These local governments, which are under the high and moderate flood risk areas, include Ilaje, Odido, Iseodu, and Ebile.
She thanked the state government for the flood mitigation strategies put in place thus far.
The June edition of Environmental Sanitation Exercise will hold across Ondo State tomorrow, 29 June 2024, in line with the directive of the Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Oyeni Oseni. The exercise is to be carried out without restrictions of human or vehicular movement due to the common entrance examination into the government secondary schools and the Olympic Day run that have been fixed for the day. A statement by the Acting General Manager of the State Waste Management Authority, Adekunle Alajubu, urges residents to take the advantage of the period to clean their surroundings. It assured of the present administration's commitment towards making Ondo State one of the best in cleanliness across the country. Nigerian Governors Forum has assured Nigerians and the organized labor that better minimum wage will result from ongoing negotiations. The governors had previously rejected the federal government's proposal of Naira, stating that some states will need to borrow money to pay salaries. Despite this, organized labor continues to demand a wage of 250,000 Naira. The governors chose to hold an emergency meeting after the Federal Executive Council postponed the minimum wage discussion to allow President Bola Tinubu to conduct broader consultations. According to a communique released after an emergency meeting, the forum discussed the new national minimum wage and agreed to continue engaging with key stakeholders to reach a mutually acceptable solution. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has approved the immediate rollout of the National Construction and Household Support Program to cover all geopolitical zones in the country. A statement by the presidential spokesman, Ajuri Ngalale, said the initiative is to boost agricultural productivity, strengthen the economy by creating opportunities in the real sectors of agriculture, manufacturing and construction, as well as provide urgent economic relief for Nigerians. Under the program, the Sokoto to Badagry Highway, which will traverse Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, Oyo, Ogun, and Lagos states, is prioritized. According to the statement, other items under the National Construction and Household Support Program include one-off allocation to states and the Federal Capital Territory of 10 billion naira for the procurement of CNG buses uplift program, delivery of 50,000 naira uplift grants to each to 100,000 families per state for 3 months, provision for labor unions and civil society organizations. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu urged state governors to work together to meet the needs of citizens, stating that he is willing to provide the needed support to ensure that Nigerians are relieved of hardship. The federal government has proposed the review of the Labour Standard Bill to mainstream child labour with special consideration on the adoption of 15 years as the minimum age for work or employment. Minister of State for Labour and Employment Nkiruka Onyejocha at the third edition of the conference to mark the elimination of child labour in Nigeria held in Abuja lamented the menace of child labour in the country. According to the minister, about 25 million adults and children are in forced labour, including in global supply chains. She explained that the critical stakeholders were all aware that the current global statistics shows that 160 million children and nearly 1 in 10 worldwide are engaged in child labour. Onyejocha said to address the challenges of child labour, Nigeria had made giant strides in the ratification of the International Labour Organization Convention 138 on the minimum age for work, 182 on the worst forms of child labour, among others. Meanwhile, the presidency says state governments were in a better position to champion the cause of a school feeding program. The senior special assistant to President Bola Tinubu on the program, Dr. Yetunde Adeniji, made this known in Abuja. Adeniji, who called on state governments to key into the program, said it was part of ongoing efforts to reposition the education sector in the country. She stated this at the start of a 2-day training workshop for the domestication of the African Union Development Agency and the new Partnership for African Development Continental School Feeding Guidelines for Nigerian state officials. Adeniji explained that the focal persons are not only the backbone of the initiative in each state, but also the liaisons between the state government, schools, and communities in ensuring an effective program implementation, fostering collaboration, and addressing challenges that may arise. And that's Developing Stories. Thank you for watching. Good morning.